Well, not as if nothing had happened, since deep down he was suffering while 4 witches were trying to calm him down. Although they knew that the pain was too much, since deep down they suspected that a human could not withstand a transfer of organs from witches. Although, to their surprise, Adonis began to calm down, and quickly Mrs. Ophelia appeared before them to ask them not to give up on the boy, since she would help them by restoring the protagonist's sanity, all with a simple touch. Although our protagonist could only see a burst of sad memories and then achieve calm down and mention the name of his late teacher, mysteriously returning him to the past to the exact moment where he lost his head, having the soldier who eliminated him in front of him looking at him with complete indifference but pronouncing a strange magical spell canceling his death. But although the protagonist did not understand anything, he wanted to know what was happening, so it is revealed to us that the officer who had eliminated him was Daroka's friend Anna, who told her that Daroka and her were infiltrators, so her death is a simple facade since they want to bring Chloe back to life so she would take care of everything. From that moment on, asking Mrs. Ophelia to take him away, managing to enclose the protagonist in a sphere while he floated away. Anna could only cry for not being able to save her Dorok friend again. Returning to the present, Adonis was able to come to his senses. Although, of course, he was too weak to stand, but to his surprise, he was warmly hugged by Mrs. Ophelia who thanked Donis for fighting for the witches, something that momentarily moved the protagonist although he knew he shouldn't be distracted by asking them to explain where he is. So Ophelia explained to him that it is in the country of witches, a huge, almost utopian place where all of them meet, showing us that there are still quite a few alive while Adonis is carried in a wheelchair. But although he is not, he could believe that this place could really exist. A couple of witches asked him how he was, but the boy coldly told them that he was fine, which made them happy since they knew that Chloe would not have liked something to happen to someone so important. So the boy immediately asked them if they knew their teacher. The witches seemed very happy when they said yes, saying that they loved her very much, which made Donis somewhat happy since she knew she was in the right place, but they had to continue on their way, going where they were. Ophelia, although this time she wanted to try to stand up. Although Ophelia immediately forbade it because she had used a lot of magical power, not to mention that her body was very fatigued, which the protagonist did not like very much. Then we quickly see that a group of witches love him. Show the good harvest they are having by showing him a ripe lemon all thanks to her, although at that moment Adonis wanted to know if they had done something to him or if they wanted something from him. But Ophelia told him that she invited him to come, transforming that simple lemon into one that can float while telling Donis that she knew her teacher and also knows that he is her apprentice. In addition to revealing to us that everyone in that nation knows her teacher since she was the most powerful, intelligent, and kind of all, and although her specialty was the ice, she was already shining like the sun, and although at the time she was expelled from the nation, Adonis quickly interrupted her, wanting to know if she was the one who expelled her since Chloe had taught magic to a little brat, so Adonis deduced that she was expelled from her land for Ophelia. But although she did not deny having expelled her, she tells him that for a witch, magic is something so special and irreplaceable that it is like her soul. After all, magic was a divine gift that represents the friendship that God once had with them. So they had the duty to guide humanity, but that duty was not for humans, not to mention that it is dangerous for them to have so much power. And although at the time they did not understand why she had accepted a human as an apprentice, and although every time her witch friends asked her to leave him, she always said the same thing, sorry, which brought back good memories of Chloe, but goodbye seemed a little angry. Although Ophelia was kind enough to take back her pen, which made the protod immediately get up to ask that they would return her teacher's gift, but Ophelia told her a little about her feather, which was from a phoenix and was full of magic without mentioning that it was decorated as if it were the eye and wing of a dragon, quite a masterpiece, but still, so he returned it to him asking if his teacher made it for him, which Donis affirmed, hugging his teacher's gift and immediately asking if it is true that they are bringing his teacher back. So they said that he would never lie, giving him the calm that he needed. He had lost Donis a long time ago. Although when he looked up at the ceiling he could see his world and wondered where he was, but his answer was very simple since he was in a heavenly place far away from all of humanity, telling us that 10 years ago they arrived there. And then it became their home where the witches could be in peace. Then the moon being their new nation of witches, they called her Luna Emiya her home. Returning to Earth, we quickly see Yamato with a special suit, while Ophelia tells Donice that perhaps God she locked them in such a place so that their evil would not escape from there, but Donice stated that God was not real, and if he did so he would never allow such creatures to exist in this universe. So she immediately showed him the tombs of the witches, which there were a lot of them, and then I told him that although the king of humans stated that witches are evil, he simply brought condemnation for both species. After that, they went to see a great tree called Myth, which had the property of being able to produce witches, so that in the past she must have seen one, although Adoni claims that it is the first time, since Chloe did not like to talk much about her origins. So she is told that witches do not have gender. Unlike humans, they do not need another to reproduce, just like divine fruits brought by God, although Donice didn't care about all of this. Ophelia revealed to him that it is the last tree alive, since there are no more, but luckily for them they were able to transport it to its new home, all because humans they burned all the trees, without mentioning that they can not only create witches but also bring them back to life. So Adonis little by little was happy to have a possible meeting with his teacher, mistaking a cocoon for his teacher, but Ophelia revealed to him that she was not as his teacher, but if he wanted to bring her back he had to use her magical formulation, which would allow him to create objects such as his empowered weapon or his giant robot, which were brought back with his thoughts. So Ophelia assured him that if he could imbue the memories of Chloe in any fruit of the tree, could bring her teacher back to life, by telling us that that is the reason why they need him. But she would be given time to reflect, and when he is ready, Ophelia will call more witches to bring her teacher back to life. Later, Adoni was lying under the tree thinking about everything that had happened, hoping to be able to get his teacher back. But at that moment Anna would appear to ask him to remember if he forgot something. And although Doni understood that she wanted to be thanked for bringing it, he said that he does not owe them any apology, without mentioning that if Daroka died that does not matter to him and it is his responsibility. But Anna quickly began to cry after everything. Daroka gave her life for him, although this did not matter to Donice. After all, it was his plan to have it saved by what had nothing to do with him, and it was his responsibility to assimilate any loss. He left the place, leaving Anna shouting at him, but when he saw that he would not stop, he only began to say that he is no different from other humans, being one the same or worse than the rest of her species. Not to mention that she is sure that she is more than happy that her lover comes back to life. After all, thanks to the tree, she could get Chloe back as many times as she wants, but at that moment Anna would regret it of losing Daroka, since they should have helped a piece of crap like him. But this would make the protagonist angry, who told them that they are as terrible as him, revealing that he is not a fool and that if they helped him it was for his own good, revealing that the only reason why Ella wants to bring her master back is because they want to use Chloe to make more of their gifts by showing us her magic feather, which impresses Anna, but she begins to deny everything even though Donice asked her to stop. After all, he spent some time with his deceased friend Daroka, and leaving us a memory of the past. We see Daroka then say hit by a Count's bullet, where with her last strength she warned him about the witches, telling us that although it is true that they want that he revives Chloe, and it is possible with his help, it is actually to use her to his advantage. So Daroka asked him that once he revives her, they both immediately flee the nation of witches, and although at the time Donice said that he did not understand her, seeing that they had to transport themselves to the moon even though they are witches and can survive in any environment, there can only be one reason for going so far away, this being a cage where they raise humans. But Anna, without saying a word, agreed with the protagonist, who knew that witches kidnap humans to teach them magic and use them. After all, they are on the verge of being extinct, not to mention that Ophelia recently asked her if her teacher made her pen. So she suspects that in reality he knows that her teacher is the only one capable of making magic feathers, this being the only reason why they want Chloe impressing Anna again and then leaving the place. But Adonis stated that his plan would be the same as resurrecting his teacher. Although of course if she decides to help them, he will be forced to do it, but if his mistress does not want to do it, he will automatically eliminate all the witches in the area. But later we see how in the resurrection ceremony, where Adonis tries to bring back his master while he was going straight towards a tree, where with his feather he would activate all her memories, making a specific fruit absorb all her magic and memories. We were shown a memory of her looking at stars at night, where Chloe would forget that she invented a constellation, so they both began to fight, but none of that mattered to the protagonist, who just wanted to bring his teacher back to be with her no matter what happens, remembering things such as the day where Chloe was fighting and he got angry because she always threw his clothes and he had to pick them up, but that same day by mistake Adonis he saw his teacher's body which was full of wounds, and although Chloe bothered him by calling him a pervert, he just said that it was a mistake, and quickly in order to get out of the situation he said that he would do some guard duty outside because the enemy could attack them while they were bathing. But strangely, Chloe began to cry, thanking him for not abandoning her and always being there for her, something that would surprise the boy since she stated that if it hadn't been for him she wouldn't be able to continue living. But in the present, Adonis could understand her words since he couldn't live either without her, but once all his memories are transported he will admit that he loved her. While in the last flash we see Chloe Agar telling the protagonist while her fruit began to shine brightly until a beautiful woman with pink hair begins to slowly descend. This is how this episode ends. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell.